everybody, it's Jason Blaha of Ice Cream Fitness here, and today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about sodium because I've had endless numbers of questions about it. But hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot first. Sodium is kind of an interesting topic because only in the modern world has this even become an issue, because historically people have struggled to get enough sodium and have gone through a lot of trouble to acquire salt because people actually develop sodium deficiencies eating entirely whole foods and sweating a lot, particularly in warmer climates. But we put so much of it in our food today, it has become a concern. But interestingly enough, not everyone is subject to the negative effects of sodium. This really varies from person to person, and it seems to be genetic. Now, if you are in the 70% who don't seem to be heavily affected by sodium, it's not really going to matter how much of it you eat. It's not going to negatively affect your blood pressure as long as you're healthy and active and not obese. It's not going to make you retain water for that 70% of people who don't produce excessive amounts of aldosterone and other hormones related to water retention based upon sodium intake. The only thing that will make a big difference is if you change the amount of sodium you eat. So if you consistently eat 7,000 or even 5 to 8,000 milligrams of sodium a day and you stay in that range, you can get contest dry, you can get shredded, you can step on a bodybuilding stage just fine. If you dramatically lower it or raise it, let's say you drop it down to 1,000 milligrams a day or up to 10,000, you're going to blow. And the best way to tell is to just change your sodium intake and see how many pounds the scale changes. And I'll use myself for example. I've been weighing between 218 and 220 as of the last week, and I had a bunch of extra salt yesterday, and accordingly, even while on a caloric deficit, I stepped on the scale at 223 this morning. So I put on about 5 pounds just from putting some sea salt in my rice yesterday. So for me, I'm very sensitive to sodium. That was only maybe 1,500 milligrams of sodium over what I normally eat. And it put 5 pounds of water on me overnight in one day. So I am one of those sensitive people, and you may or may not be. Only about 30% of people are. And the people who are sensitive to it are the people who are going to see potential changes in blood pressure from high sodium intake. Now, by that same token, a lot of people who train hard really make a big mistake and cut their sodium too low. And if you cut your sodium too low and you're very active and you sweat a lot, the problem is that you're going to not have enough electrolytes and sodium to properly contract muscles. And you're going to see a decline in your performance, and you might even get some muscle cramping from it. So while for people with major blood pressure problems, doctors often recommend them staying under 2,000 and putting some people as low as 500 milligrams of sodium a day. If you start going down to 1,000 or less as an active athlete, you're probably going to have problems with your performance and muscle cramping. So I'm going to recommend that you do not do that. And the best thing to do is just keep your sodium fairly consistent. If you usually eat around 3,500 milligrams of sodium a day, try not to go too far below 3,000 or too far above 4,000. Try to keep yourself within a 2,000 milligram range at the most on a day-to-day basis. So if you eat high sodium all the time, eat high sodium. If you're one of the people who aren't particularly sensitive to it, because you're not going to have any problems doing that as long as you're consistent. Alright guys, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you next time.